Well, we on there, so I don't know. I'll call you back. If you wonder, right. The things yeah. Okay. Come a little closer. Let's tell the truth. Hold me in your arms. Damn, that's a hit. That's a hit, man.
It's a hit.
I could take those.
You know, people are listening though, so.
Oh,
Yeah.
Hello, people. Just playing around. Come walk with me down this road. We'll drift along and go so slow. Go up to the hill and then look down. You can see an island on the other side of town. Your love is like a beautiful rain, some cool sunny day. Never even thought about that. If you take a chance and just let go, we could be like the ocean and on the shore. Come and take me.
Oh, keep going. What happened?
I know it stopped somewhere. It didn't complete.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen. I'm still cutting and pasting, but this is an unusual thing for me to have somebody here actually on the hang. I don't even know if I've ever done it before. You're the first.
Well, I had to drive over from Beverly Hills. And it was quite a drive, but I went on and did it, because you've been a friend for a long time.
Oh, thank you. That
Oh,
is
yeah.
really kind of you.
Yeah, I know. So nice to see me.
Well, and still cutting and pasting just a little bit. So this is Allan Walker. We call him various things.
Yeah, I know. So does the police. Ah, Lord.
Do you know what number guest you are today?
Oh, I'm usually in the thousands. I remember I asked you one time. I tried to be in the hundreds, but I'm in the thousands.
Well, I'm just getting this a little together,
Yeah.
and people can wait here a little bit. And here we go. Got to turn everything down. I gotta edit. It's like always editing. Editing. Oh, edit the video.
Rather
Gosh.
you than me. It's a lot of editing.
Edit video. There we are. Okay, and because I just want to be sure that there we are. You're on there. We'll select Noontime hangs. Now Allan really gets to see me do this stuff.
It's a lot of work.
I know, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm used to having a big stick and a wheel turning and a crank. And even that's difficult,
Yeah.
So
Oh, this is too long. Damn. Okay, so from not having enough on your
plus I got these because I can't remember all this stuff. So I printed out some stuff today, with a couple of greats. Cats are great, man. I didn't even know it at the time. Of course, it was a lot I didn't know, So, and I find that, the guys that are playing today, they have expert tutelage all the way around. They got stuff online, they got teachers, all the old guys, everything, So they're playing a lot more, probably, I would say, efficient. But still, it takes a lifetime to learn to play music, as you know. Spacing, timing, rhyme, and reason.
yeah.
And you can't get around that.
You sure can't. You can read a little bit of Allan's bio on the Facebook. Oh, look at all your friends here. Judy Barrett.
Oh, the fabulous Judy Barrett.
I like, she says, just walked in the door and look who's here. Catherine Hopkins, Nancy Field. Hello.
Yeah.
Do you know Nancy?
Yes, I sure do.
Hi, Nancy. Do I know Nancy? Do I just not know her name exactly with her face?
Well, I try to keep. Yeah, that's what it is. I try to keep all the people, rich people, with different names.
Oh, that Nancy's the rich girl who shows up at the gigs. Hi, Nancy.
That loves me. Hey.
Priscilla.
Yeah.
Hola, Cathy Segal-Garcia. Love that Allan Walker. I should have him endorse our LJF letter. You should, actually. Joel Rothberg. Hello.
Hey, Dr. Rothberg. He's a good
guy. How did he get his start? We're going to talk about that. Absolutely. Joyce Glasgow. She said, a live duo in the same room. I must be hallucinating.
Well, I couldn't afford a computer, I had a black and white TV and I was working with that, but it didn't work. I tried.
Gary Brumberg, my buddy Gary. Allan Walker. He's going to be here soon.
I know. Yeah, he's running Nashville now.
Let's see. Yep.
A lot of people.
Okay, Nancy. Now I know who you are. Oh, I see your picture. Okay. Yes, Priscilla. He does know you. Okay, so
well, you never know, Priscilla. My mind is going quick.
It is. I have noticed that your mind is going. I've
known you. 1 is 4.
I've known him a long time, but recently I have noticed.
Maybe it's the pandemic or something. I don't know what it is. Can't remember anything.
Can't remember. Okay.
I had a girlfriend I was reaching out for, I was trying to, had my program going and fail.
Yeah, well, that does happen.
I said, damn. I thought you were 50. I said, no, 80. And the beat goes on. I'm trying to do the best I can, people. I don't know what kind of interview this is going to be. Damn.
Oh, it's going to be fun.
Oh, yeah.
Like Priscilla says, 1 + 1 = 11.
Yeah, Priscilla, she understands. Yeah, I like it. Yeah.
All right, so Allan Walker. We call him many things. We call him the fabulous Allan Walker, which is part of his name. We call you Big Daddy.
Yeah,
but
you used to call me Cash Money, too.
Cash Money.
That's short change.
Short change. And lots of people called him Big Daddy, but now?
Little Puppy.
Little Puppy.
Damn, what a difference a day makes. What a difference a day makes. Oh, we get real silly. Both of us have the same sense of humor.
So, Allan, I always think that if we were a little closer in age, we're about 5 or 6 years apart, right?
Yeah, I think you're.
I'm 68.
And I'm 62.
62? Nice.
She said, yeah. Well,
You're 72.
73.
62. That's definitely either forgetting or
I forgot. My memory is going back. Oh, shoot. This is going to be a terrible interview. Jesus, turn on the cartoons.
Okay, so I always thought if we had been a little closer in age, we probably would have bumped into each other in Boston because we were both in Boston. I had a wild cousin, Linda, and she, I know that she and Allan hung out in certain
same
areas.
circles.
Yeah, both wild people in Boston. And in those years, it was wild,
Yeah, it was. I always wanted to be a mafioso. I didn't know there was just Italians. I learned, though. That was very interesting, dealing with the Italians, And I'll never forget, we went up to this place in Revere Beach. And that was the guy said, we're going to Revere Beach, man. I said, oh, yeah. I said, that's where all the Italians live and stuff, I said, oh, that's great, man. I said, the mafia's up there. I said, yeah, that's great, man. And I got into the club, and I was a guy, one of their favorite guys, his family was out of Chicago, Tommy Hunt, who had a big hit. I think it was probably number 1, number 2, number 3, somewhere like that. It was called I'm Only Human. And he had several hits. And the guy called me over. He said, hey, guy, come here. I want to talk to you. As soon as I came into the club, I want to talk to you, guy. He says, I want you guys to have a good time and enjoy yourself, but you can't be looking at the women. These guys, I didn't know they were good fellows. I didn't know they were gangsters. These guys are kind of funny about their women, so you can't look at them, but enjoy yourself. And then he was talking, Tommy Hunt was there. It was really that was a big song. If you look him up, he had 4 or 5 big hits, and he's in Europe now. But somehow they loved him, man. That was, he was their guy.
I just want to show you Allan Walker.
Oh, Lord. Well, my hair's about 2 feet, isn't it?
What year was this? This was in New York at your sister's place, right?
Yeah, both of my sisters had bars, and this was that was 158th Street, right up off of Broadway. And you see, we got 1, 2, 3, 4 locks on there.
Oh yeah, man.
But nobody ever, it was just gangsters that came in there. So I dressed up, tried to be a gangster. I got my.
You look good, man.
I got my mustache, and all that.
Yeah, the down all the way down.
I had just watched Superfly on the when I was trying to be him. Lost, Good times though, just good times.
Nalini said the fro is back. It is back. Yeah, although probably for younger people.
I was at the Lighthouse last week with Jacques Lejour.
Yeah.
And a couple of guys, they had fros, big fros,
Yeah.
And I said, yeah, I know.
Yeah. Allan is from Roanoke, Virginia. Well, let's tell the people how you came up, because it's a cool story how you came up.
I'm just trying to think. I can't
You remember your
back
family?
I had 6 brothers and sisters, so it was 9 of us in the house, and uncles, about 10 of us, and the whole neighborhood was just great. Everybody had. If you had 5 in your family, that was a small family.
Oh, wow.
That was small.
Yeah.
Yeah, most 7, 9. We had 2 families down the street. One was 14, one was 16, and
Wow.
everybody got along. All the windows were open. All the doors were open. Everybody came by our house because we were kind of gregarious. We were that
Also,
type.
your dad was a chef.
He was a chef and he cooked, and everybody run out of money. See, everybody got a little bit of money.
Yeah.
And in those days, after about 2 weeks, everybody was out of food. And he was a chef, so he'd come in off the railroad, and everybody stayed at our house. And I said, they must really like me a lot. Come to find out, they like the food.
You know, it's funny because that probably formed your personality a lot. Just the fact that everybody was around.
Oh
they
yeah,
were
you had
nice.
to meet and greet everyone.
Yeah,
Hey
yeah.
man, come on up. We got some Kool-Aid, you know.
Kool-Aid.
Yeah. And boy, after about 2 days, they stopped coming because the food was gone. But for 2 or 3 days, they really, really liked me. I was really special. So I thought.
Where you were kind of middle or no, kind of younger?
Yeah, next to the baby. I was like
Yeah.
the sixth child, you know, and you know, in those days they couldn't do much with cancer, so all my family was gone except my oldest brother. Just two of us left, but everybody else is gone, and basically because of cancer.
Yeah.
You know, cancer and the whole neighborhood, the whole area was like that. Everybody's gone, you know.
Yeah.
So I've outlived a lot of people at 73.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. God's playing a trick on you. He's going to keep you alive till 96, I think.
And you know, when I was at Roanoke, I met some interesting musicians.
Yeah.
I met Fats Wright, Clyde Fats Wright. You can look that up on the internet. And Don Pullen. And I played, Cedric Lawson was younger than me, but Fats Wright played with Coltrane and Charlie Parker.
What instrument did he play?
He played piano.
Uh-huh.
And I had no clue. He saw me one day and he said, "Would you like to learn how to play some jazz?" And of course, yes, sir. Yes, sir. And he taught me, I think it was called Freight Train. And I had to call Elmo. I can't even remember these things, man. And there was, another one was two bebop songs. Those were the first bebop songs I ever learned. It's here somewhere. I can't even read my notes. And but I did not know. It was so far above my head. I did not really grasp it. Because at that time, I started playing professionally at 15. I was gone. We were playing with just about every major star in the country. And
What, was it mostly R&B?
mostly R&B. We played with the Temptations, Four Tops, Dionne Warwick, Little Anthony, the Imperials, the Coasters,
So
the
you
Drifters.
you're kind of like Harold Bennett, right? Like you had a band and it backed up everybody
Yeah, we backed. We had a bus.
in a certain area like the South, or did you
We would do everything down from D.C. down almost down to Florida, and we'd kind of go out, you know, like to West Virginia, that
Yeah.
second little East Coast string, like from Pennsylvania, Pittsburgh down through Nashville. But basically, all the, you know, people say that's the chilling circuit, but that's not really true.
Yeah.
Because the chilling circuit did not have the money to support all those groups.
Yeah.
So we played for the University of Virginia, and because they had alumni and they had field houses. At that time, they didn't have any coliseums built.
Oh.
They were just, I think Richmond may have been the first one I ever saw built. And that was late, but we would play in field houses.
What's a field house?
It's like where they had all their basketball games and track meets and stuff indoor. All colleges had them, universities.
Indoor?
Yeah. And, you know, all like UVA basketball team, they had to have somewhere to play.
Yeah.
So they would hold 10 to 17,000, 20,000 people.
Oh.
So they had the money
Yeah.
and they had the built-in crowd.
Yeah.
So where were the Temptations gonna go? They couldn't go to Billy's Rib Shack. Couldn't go there.
Right.
They couldn't go to Mary Lou's all the chicken you can eat. They went to UVA where
Yeah.
they could make some money, and then we'd go to Washington Lee and VMI and VPI and Duke and State and Georgia Tech. So every week we were busy. We started winding up around Wednesday, and we were still in high school.
Yeah.
Just to get out of there Friday morning so we could drive 200-300 miles. In those days, that was a long way.
Yeah.
You know, if you drove 200-300 miles, that was like going
Like
across.
4 or 5 hours or
Yeah,
something?
that was like going to Europe or somewhere in the 60s.
Yeah.
And it was quite interesting, and I thought it was normal. I did not know it wasn't normal. And I heard about the Chitlin Circuit, and I thought we were in the Chitlin Circuit, but we weren't,
Yeah.
because
Well,
we
the
played.
Chitlin Circlet strikes me as smaller venues too, like more community venues.
Yeah, they
you
were
know.
community venues. We played maybe 2 or 3 of those a year,
Yeah.
or a club. But basically, all of the South was blues and rhythm and blues.
Yeah.
So that encompassed all of Motown, all of Memphis, and then you had Nashville, all of Nashville that's down there, because you had the country and western going on down there.
Yeah.
It wasn't here. It wasn't in LA. LA was movies.
Yeah.
In those days, you had Philadelphia. I played with the stylistics out of Philadelphia. What was that? Philadelphia Sound or something.
Yeah.
And then you had Memphis. You had Motown. You had Stax. I was with Sam and Dave coming. So we had enough records, 45s in those days, enough records and enough stars that you could play every week. There was no looking for jobs. There was no financing your jobs. There was no putting on shows. We got on the bus. We had a bus. Went to where we were going Friday. Played that night, usually, and went to another town the next night. And
So wait a minute, let me get this straight. So let's say you showed up for Sam and Dave. You had listened so much to the records that you knew the chart. You knew the charts.
knew the
You didn't have
charts.
any music or anything, probably.
We had music on some of them.
Yeah.
We played with the Impressions, Curtis. They'd usually bring a guitar drummer and a bass player or a piano player. They'd bring
Yeah.
one,
Somebody who knew.
but they could
and-
not afford to bring 8 or 9 pieces out of Detroit all the way
Yeah.
down to Virginia
Yeah.
for 1 or 2 shows. Where when it got down past Howard, in those days they had the Howard Theater in D.C., Apollo in New York.
Yeah.
So they played those venues. But once they got down south, it wasn't much.
Yeah.
It wasn't much. The cities were a lot smaller than they are now. So where did they go? They went to the universities.
So okay, I'm going to look for more pictures, but so you, how old were you?
Let's see, I started playing 13, 15. I was playing professionally. I think one of my, I used to go over to a place in Roanoke, Virginia called the Star City Auditorium. And I'd sneak out the house around 12 o'clock at night, because in those days, a lot of things were from 10 to 2. It wasn't from 8 to 12. That was too early. It was 10 to 2. And I'd be back in
10 to 2.
I'd be back in
Ladies and gentlemen, we barely do that anymore, right?
We're so old now. It's 3 to 5, 2 to 5.
Yeah, really.
And we go home, got to take a nap, and hope we wake up. Shit. And I'd go behind the bushes, because you couldn't be out there. They wouldn't. I was too young.
Oh, you'd go to listen.
I'd
You'd
be
go
behind the building.
bushes.
It'd be like an auditorium.
Is this the band?
Now that band right there, that was a band called the Divots. That band played. We played. That we were at UVA.
Of course, this is you smiling. You're the only one
Once-
smiling. Yeah.
Yeah, we were at UVA right there, and a frat house right there. We would play frat houses because all the frats, work with the alumni, and the alumni work with the big groups. But even the frat houses, those frat houses paid more than you guys are making in Los Angeles and New York today.
Yeah.
And my mom's house, I asked my mother, I said, Mom, how much is this house? We had 4 bedrooms, big bathroom with windows all the way across, and it was like 9 of us in there. She said $48 a month. That was her house note. I was making $300 on the weekend.
Wow.
Every weekend. I was like the rich guy.
Were you paying the house payment?
Well, they tricked me. I I didn't know what to do with the money, because I was just, I was buying cars and stuff. And I never forget it. My mother tricked me. She said, And she knew I loved her. And I had 3 sisters, which I loved dearly, and 3 brothers, which I loved dearly. And I loved her, loved my mother. In fact, she taught me how the music. She used to play the piano.
Yeah.
And she would say, she said, Allan, I want you to, and her sister lived up the street. They had a store. They were kind of business oriented. And so I know they were plotting and planning. They knew I had this money, right?
Yeah.
And I'm buying, candy and all. I'm still young. I'm a kid. I bought the most expensive saxophone I could get, And she said, Allan, could you go with me up on the line to hang up clothes? And it was in the wintertime. I said, what? And I was the baby. Most of the kids were gone. They were going to New York and wherever they were going to D.C.
Yeah.
I said, okay. And she had this big bucket of wet clothes. Now, back in Virginia, you getting down to 18 degrees and whatever.
Yeah.
And I used to look at the line and the clothes were frozen on the line. They were real hard.
I'm sorry. I can't make this too big, but that's Allan's mom.
Yeah, that's her. Loved her to death. Loved her. Just loved her. And
I don't have too many pictures of you and your brother. I don't have any pictures. Do you? I wonder.
I've got to get some pictures.
I'd like to see your family.
I had a
your
bunch of
brothers and
pictures, but
sisters
somebody
and stuff,
stole my car one time, and I had all these slides in them and took all the slides from the shows and the family. So I went up on the line, and the weather was 18 degrees. And we were pulling the clothes up out of this wet bucket. And this must have been,
Oh.
I couldn't have been no older than 15.
This is where she tricked you.
Yeah, they tricked me. And Christmas was on its way. So it was like maybe in October, somewhere like that. It was cold though, it was getting close to November. So she said, help me. So I'm putting up, you got clothespins,
And
right?
she normally did it all herself.
She did it all by herself, all her life.
Yeah, yeah,
Because my father was always on the railroad working.
yeah.
And we had a bunch of people.
But the kids didn't
And
help
they had
for
this
some reason.
ringer,
Yeah.
I mean, the kids washed dishes and stuff. We
Yeah.
all took turns like that. But no, she knew. She knew. She said, he loves me. And I put up those wet clothes, and that cold air hit my hands, and my hands were shaking, and they were burning. That water was stinging. And I looked at her, I said, Mom, you've been doing this all your life? She said, yes. And it was getting close to Christmas, so I talked to her sister, and she would call me A.W. A.W.? Yeah, I saw you out there with your mother hanging clothes. I said, yes. I said, Aunt Pearl, my hands were on fire. They were just burning from. She said, yes, your mother's been going through that. What you gonna get her for Christmas? It was beautiful. She rolled right into it, just laying right into it. I said, well, what do you think? I don't know what to get, maybe a TV or something. She said, She said, maybe a wash machine.
And a dryer.
Yeah, and I said, no, I said dryer, because I told her, I said, let's get a washer and dryer, because I'm not going back up on the line. I mean, I just couldn't do it. That's how much it hurt. I had never experienced anything like that, Cathy.
So when she got it, did you wait for Christmas?
Well, wash machine was like, man, I think it was $100 and some in the dryer, so it's about $400.
Yeah.
But in those days, that was a lot of money.
Yeah, $400 in those days.
Yeah, I
shit.
think my first car was $500. So, yeah, we got it. They talked me into it. I went downtown. I said, well, what do you get the washers and dryers? So my aunt told me. Now, my aunt is her sister.
Yeah.
And they talk. They're just like this. Well, you go down here on Camel Church Avenue. There's a store up there. And I went up there and looked. And I gave the man some money. I said, put it on layaway. So it was on layaway. And we got it just before Christmas, and she was excited, and you know, it was real nice.
Did you did they deliver it to the house?
They delivered it.
And was that when she found out what the present was?
I think they knew all the time.
But I mean, did she feign, you know, surprise?
Yeah. Oh yeah. She seemed surprised. Oh. I thought I had. I thought that she was surprised. Man, she knew every payment I made. Man, she didn't count no money, man.
All right. So wait, I have to catch up with all the comments.
Oh, okay.
Because people are here. Let's see. So, yeah,
I know it's ladies.
I like Joel Rothberg. He said,
Okay.
"Wow, that hair! Just remember, hair today, gone tomorrow."
You know, you see what I'm saying? You see how people have lost their minds.
And Joyce Glasgow, you need to know Joyce. She's up in Seattle, but she's an artist and she's a big fan of jazz people. She knows a lot of people. She said, "Your laughter is contagious. Wonderful to hear people laughing so much together and having a good time."
Oh yeah, we used to go up to Seattle all the time and play up there. We'd play down right up under the bridge on the waterfront. I'm trying to think of that club. They've moved now.
Joyce probably will know.
It was a blues club.
Angela O'Neill says hi.
Angela.
And look, Dan Davila found something on Fats Right. We'll have to check that out and see if that's the Fats Right.
Yeah.
And Linda Smith is here.
Isn't that pitiful? And said, Linda
Smith, 2 to 5 p.m. on Sunday. Are you going to be there? Are you going to be there, Linda? Or I don't know. I don't know. You'll have to tell us a little more.
Yeah.
Oh, and look, your mom was so pretty, Nalini. She said, "Here's a drawing of the Star Auditorium."
Star City Auditorium.
Look at that. Let me share that. That's a pretty cool picture. Thanks.
That's pretty much how it was too. Big stage in the middle. You'd walk up the steps on the side. We had dressing rooms on the left and the right. And on this side, there was an overhang where people could look down, you know.
Oh, on the right.
Yeah. It was good times, man. I was having a ball and didn't even know it, you know.
You know, I told you I met this drummer friend of mine
From Roanoke. Yeah, you tell
from
me.
Roanoke, and I was wondering if
That's right
yeah.
there.
Now he said, I know you've told me a lot of stories about this, but he said how he grew up thinking that Roanoke was very racist. I mean, you never really talked like that when we've been talking about Roanoke for all these years, you know?
It was very racist, but for some reason I was kind of blind to it. My family didn't share that too much with me. And all the bands were mixed in the 60s.
Yeah.
And integration was on its way, but before that, everybody just poured over into the black side of town, you know. I mean, Roanoke was different. It was different. It was small enough that everybody had to work together. So you had to know each other's parents, you know. So when we took off with the 8 guys in the band, all our parents knew each other.
Uh-huh.
They bought the bus.
Oh, really?
We had a bus driver and 8 beds.
Wow.
Because we were their kids.
Yeah.
You know, and they didn't care. They just they thought it was special. And we were like little deer, little reindeer, you know.
So the white and black parents, both.
Yeah.
Everybody.
It was fine. You know, I never had any problems. I could see it in certain parts of the city.
Oh, I have to pat your head. You're such a cute little boy.
We used to go down to a place called Papa Joe's.
Yeah.
Papa Joe's was in Roanoke and Sammy's, where they were in Southeast Roanoke. Now that's where you wasn't supposed to go.
Okay.
If you were black, you were supposed to go down Southeast.
Okay, why not?
You just no.
Because that was like the upper crust, or the
was the working class, and they were more working class. And this is it's like Italian neighborhood. You know, this is my neighborhood there.
Okay.
I never ran into that until I went into Chicago and New York. I thought the South was supposed to be the racist place, but I found out different when I went north.
Yeah.
But we would go down there and play because the people really were just working people trying to make it.
Yeah.
and the city was separated naturally. And then integration came. I never forget, integration was coming and people were marching and Martin Luther King was going to Selma and going all that. So we all got together and we're gonna integrate. Roanoke had separate eating establishments. Everything was separate. But still nobody was like at each other's throat or nothing. And all the kids, remember I told you we used to play for all these colleges. We had a college called Hollins College, which is upscale, and a couple other universities around. And a lot of people would come down from the north. And at that time, I didn't know much about Jewish people, but a lot of them were women, most of them were women, and a lot of them were Jews.
Who
And
came down to
they
Roanoke?
were going to school down there.
In Roanoke?
Yeah,
Oh,
and around that area. And we started marching. One day I'll never forget, we're gonna march
for
integration.
Oh, okay.
All the restaurants, all the schools, and we had our black leaders and stuff, but there was a pretty nice sized white contingent with us.
Yeah.
Most of them were out of town from up north. And I never forget, we got on the bus and we went to the March on Washington. My sister has her picture on Life magazine. She's like, they had a big picture
Oh, wow.
of marching, and she and my uncle are right there in the front.
Huh.
And I went there, and it was just, we marched one day, and everybody looked because they didn't understand. All the white people were looking down. We were downtown. We were marching and all this. Couldn't go in one day, and the next day they must have had a meeting that night, the city council and the people in power in Roanoke, because the next day all the things dropped. You could go to all the movies, all the restaurants, anything you want to. It was over.
That's unbelievable.
I know.
And what's unbelievable is that people were in power who actually were human.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know?
what happened was they saw all by then it was on TV, and
Yeah.
they could see all the fighting and things burning down and the
Yeah.
police. They didn't want that.
Yeah.
So they just said, it's over. It's over.
Interesting. Wow. And so looking at this summary of Fats Wright's career, just like kind of perusing through it, I mean, at this time he was still active apparently and living in Newark. And
And he lived in D.C. and he was in New York, and he kind of retired in Roanoke because that's where he was from. He was Don Pullen's cousin, who is also a great pianist. Those guys were at the top of the ladder.
yeah.
He played with Coltrane's, Charlie Parker. It's just like the guy I was telling you about, the black guy that we were out in Revere Beach in Boston, Tommy Hunt. He played with, we played together, and then he was in and out. But where he came from, he was with the Flamingos.
Really?
I was a baby.
Wow.
He was with the Flamingos. So I kind of go back, and everybody that I was dealing with was 10, 15 years older than me. So they could touch those people, and it was quite interesting, it was quite interesting. Yeah, and I didn't really think about it until, these days,
Yeah.
you start looking into the history of things you don't know, and you say, well, damn, I was with some people that could have really, because I quit my horn for 20 years, and I went into the computer thing where I demonstrated a touch screen, like on your phone and your computer. I demonstrated that in 1969, people.
Oh.
It's not new. It's old technology. So just imagine what they got now. And they're watching you.
They're watching you.
And me too.
Let's see. Let me look just a little. Let's see. Judy Barrett's glad to learn all this stuff. Linda Smith said your mom was smart. She roped you in.
She, all the women are smart that I know. They all wrote me in.
Joyce Glasgow in Seattle is saying Jazz Alley, New Orleans Cafe, Pioneer Square near the waterfront.
I remember Jazz Alley, but this was a blues place, a big blues place. Sugar Ray and I went up there 3 or 4 times to Seattle. We'd go to Seattle, and from there we'd go all the way over to Detroit or Chicago somewhere. So I'll think of it, but it was a nice. It's the biggest blues place they had
Okay.
in it was right up under the bridge too down there, and I think they're redeveloping all that stuff.
These are your notes, right? Oh, I see. Yeah, you have a lot of
Oh, yeah, I got a lot of stuff. I wish I had learned how to read. I got it. It looked good, you know.
By the way, Linda Smith will be at the Urban Press Winery Sunday. This is yeah, and you're talking about Pullen too.
Yeah,
typed out-
Don Pullins was a leader when it comes to piano. He was
an Art Blakey jazz messenger.
Cedric Lawson was in the Jazz Messengers, and Cedric is younger than me, and he's in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania.
And Mingus.
He was to come out.
He was a big part of Mingus, right? Don Pullen.
Yeah. Don played with all those, and Don, I never forget. I was at home. He'd come by, see my sisters and stuff. You know, all of us. And he looked at me. He said, "Allan, you playing music now?" Yeah. He said, "You want me to teach you how to play?" He brought a saxophone player down from New York, you know, but I said, so I thought I could play. Even though I was only playing one note, beep, 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 but I was wearing that one note out. So he said, "Let me teach you how to play." And I said, yeah. And when he was in Roanoke, I would sit in with him, but he was kind of avant-garde.
Yeah.
And they were always out there, and I really couldn't get it, you know.
Yeah.
I was like kind of proud to play with him because of who he was.
Yeah.
But and I know now that I must have been playing that same one note.
Yeah, but maybe when you played with him, you went B.
What happened was, check this out. I was in the band. I was in the high school band.
Yeah.
So when Don came through there and I heard him playing avant-garde, I said, "Oh man." Because I could play anything then. So I would be in the band room. So the teacher came in and said, "What is that?" I mean, that's avant-garde. Like I knew. I didn't know. I was just notes. I was just going up and down the scale. But it beat that one note. You know, I wore that one note out.
God, Pullen really, I mean, these are pages and pages of
Don Pullen's bad
different
boy.
things, and man, he's somebody I want to actually look
That's
a
right.
little
Was
bit
a
more.
bad boy. That was his cousin, and
Oh, really?
and Cedric Lawson. And I know that somebody will tell him I'm speaking on him because he was getting ready to come out again. He played. What's the guy that plays drums out here? His son is president of the Grammys. He plays drums. You know what I'm talking about. Cedric used to play with him.
We talked about this the other day.
He came down to that place when we were playing on up in Ventura. We were up there. He came down with his wife.
Oh, is he president of the Grammys?
His son is.
Oh, his son is.
Yeah.
Harvey
Mason.
Harvey Mason.
So Cedric, I met Harvey in Boston.
Yeah.
I sold him my camera equipment, my Nikon camera equipment, so I could get back to D.C. Well, his son is president of the Grammys,
Yeah.
and my son also works for them. So
Yeah.
it's so Cedric was coming out to play with Harvey and them because Cedric had been in Harrisburg taking care of his mom, and his mom passed. So he was coming to L.A. I said, "Cedric, the pandemic is going on. There are no gigs." And I know because he used to live out here with us. I said, "There's nowhere to play." So he must have talked to Harvey and them because Harvey and them had done that Far Eastern tour. They had just got off a Far Eastern tour. I remember they were in China or somewhere going all down.
Right before the pandemic?
Yeah, right before that. And I said, Cedric drove all the way to Arizona and turned around and went back, you know.
I remember that during that time you two were telling me about that, but I didn't know what happened.
Yeah. The U-Haul truck he was pulling his car in, had a flat tire. I said, man, please, man. You got a house, you got a home back there and
Yeah.
everything. You come out here, man.
Excuse me,
it's-
would you put that, just so that
Okay,
it's
so
not
the-
dripping water on there?
All right.
Thank you, sir. And
All right.
is there any water over there?
I'll
Because
get
I
it.
have a few pictures.
Trying to mess the pictures up.
I know, man. He's always trying to mess me up.
I know.
So did you ever play at the Regal Theater in Chicago? Linda wants to know.
No, I went to Chicago, but Chicago, Lord have mercy. First time I went to Chicago, I had just gotten my first car. I was 16 years old. Pontiac,
Um,
57 Pontiac. I'm riding in Roanoke up and down the hills, and I see a bunch of my friends, some of the guys in the band, they just standing up there. And we start talking. He said, let's go for a ride. So we took a little ride. And the guy said, man, my mom lives in Chicago. You think you could take me to Chicago? I said, well, Cedric, the piano player, he's moving to Harrisburg. My sister's in New York. And we heard Red Fox is playing out in Atlantic City. We were into whatever was going on, but we had no concept of how far these places were. We got in the car the next day, everybody changed clothes. I think we had the same clothes on for a week. And I said, we get some moving van quilts, in case it gets cold,
yeah.
And we took off and helped Cedric move to Harrisburg. So the movers gave us a little bit of money so we could pay the gas. But we had a little bit of money, like $30 or something, Said, well, let's go how far are we from Atlantic City? And the guy said, it's just a couple of hours, So well, let's go and see Red Fox. Because all these guys were like stars to us. So we went to Atlantic City. And we were so young, we had to sit outside the club. They wouldn't let us in anyway.
Yeah.
We sat out. But to us, that was the same as going to see him live.
Yeah.
He was in there. So we saw Red Fox, even though we never saw him. We could hear the band, we could hear him in there. So we said, well, we saw Red Fox. I said, we want to go back home? I said, well, my sister's in New York. I think it's just a little ways from here, but it was a little further than a little ways,
Yeah.
So I went up to New York and I saw her. And they all knew the Frank Lucas crowd. That's the movie Denzel Washington did.
Oh, okay.
Because they were out of North Carolina, and all the people with the Great Migration to New York, all the Southerners kind of knew each other.
Yeah.
So we went up to the bar and everything, and the after hours joined, and everybody, we were all excited. New York City, and I was looking up like this, and the other guy said, don't look up, man. People, they know you're not from here. I'm looking like that. And, we were a great time. We stayed there a couple of days. I said, okay, we're going home, man. So we didn't have any money because we were spending it all on gas. So she fed us and she gave us probably another $30 or something. That was just enough because gas was like 30%
Yeah.
to get back to Roanoke. So we're driving out of New York. Everybody's in the back, and I'm kind of tired and sleepy. And I never forget it. I see Jersey Turnpike. We're on the Jersey Turnpike, and all of a sudden I start seeing signs saying Pennsylvania Turnpike. And this was big time. We were like little roads down in Virginia Hills and stuff, backlights. And the bass player said, man, I don't feel like driving to Chicago. I thought like Chicago was like maybe a couple of hours away. It was all up north. And he said, man, he was the biggest guy in the car. Man, you said you gonna take me to see my mama. I said, okay, man. And Pennsylvania Turnpike was coming up. So we swung on into Pennsylvania, we were going west. And I saw signs that Chicago, Illinois. It was 600 or 800 miles. I said, damn. And I'm the only one driving. Everybody else is in the lap of luxury. And we had $30 and we caught the freeway and that went as far as we could go. And then we hit little small towns, we siphoned gas. and the cops caught us and stopped us. And after we told them the story, they realized, oh, y'all on a road trip, and you're the oldest one. You're 16, going to Chicago. Where you guys from? Virginia. He said, "What do you?" The police said, "Do you have enough?" Because he caught us siphoning gas.
Yeah.
He said, "Do you have enough gas?" I said, "I think we got enough to make it now." He said, "Okay." We went on into Chicago, and we ran out of Chicago in Gary, Indiana, which is Chicago, but I didn't know that, And his mom came down and got us, And that's when we kind of hung in Old Town Chicago. We did all of the clubs then, and we'd have our horns and stuff, and it was just amazing. Even in New York, when I was in New York, when I was 18 in New York, I'd have my horns and Elmo. We'd be down in the village, West Village, East Village, and I'll never forget, we were walking by this place. I don't think it was a Vanguard or nothing like that, but Herbie Mann was playing. And he had just come out with do-do-do, do-do-do-do-do-do-do. So we said, oh man, Herbie Mann's in there. Let's go sit in. We didn't know it was a show. We went in there, and the guy said, he looked at us. I said, man, we want to sit in. Is that Herbie Mann? He said, yeah, we want to sit in. He said, he looked at us. I don't know, he probably laughed to himself. He said, are you guys part of the union? I said, no, we're not part of the union. So we just visiting, we just walking the streets. He said, well, man, you got to be a union. He was real nice. You got to be a union guy, to play. I said, oh, okay. But he's probably like, what the hell? Where did these people come from?
That's so cute.
We
man.
were looking country.
That is so cute. Hey, now, okay, I'm going to play a little something, okay?
All right.
So actually, there's you playing with Sugar Ray on Blind Alley,
Oh, is it?
or you singing. What do you think I should do?
Doesn't matter to me.
Well,
I forgot half the stuff, as you know. One good thing about this interview is I've had to look back at these things and recall. I had to call half my friends because I didn't know. And Dan DeVillo came up with, I should do a song by Don Corvée. And I said, we played with Don Corvée.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, yeah. Boy, that's that was a one-take song. We were sitting around just like we doing now and recorded it.
It's a cold wind that blows that would steal your heart away.
Doesn't he sing sweet, man?
Ain't that something?
Yeah.
It's a cold wind that blows that would steal your heart away.
Kind of. That was one take, y'all.
I can hear that wind blow every night and every day.
Yeah, you can move on.
Oh, just at least one more take.
Knows I've tried.
He's tried, man.
I did everything I could do.
Yes, I did.
I've tried, Lord knows I've tried. I did everything I could do.
Yeah, I was in a different world at that time.
The days all seem the same. The streets, they have no name without you.
It was good. I keep telling you should be a singer.
Out here, then I'd have to get my own shows, put up the money,
Well.
drive to the gig, clean the bar up, paint the joint.
Who knows? Maybe you'd get famous overnight.
Yeah. I think I better go to Nashville for that.
You can visit Calabria there.
Yeah, it's everybody's down there. And I just started singing this.
Yeah.
He just gave me the words. We were sitting in the studio just messing around because we rehearsed there. He said, can you sing this? I said, play a little bit of it. I said, okay. And that was it.
I know. Well, that's why I keep saying you should be a singer. I mean, you sing already. you should just do it,
Mm.
you know?
Then next thing you know, I'll be a young baby Jackie Wilson. Baby Jackie Wilson, come here, let me holler at you. I owe you too? Yeah, young baby. Yeah, I know. What else you got on there?
Well, you know,
Lord knows I've tried.
he has a funny interview too at the Mint, from the Mint, but I won't do that because I'm interviewing you, but it was
Okay.
pretty funny. Oh yeah, and here's a, I love this picture. Why I chose plastic surgery. So here's Allan right there, and this is a Jane Fonda workout.
Video.
Yeah, who's the bass player? Who
Ralph Carter turned me on because Ralph Carter wrote at least two or three CDs that Jane Fonda bought from him. All the workout stuff, it was Ralph Carter. So he said, "Alan, we playing down here in the studio." We were somewhere down here at one of these studios. I don't know if it was Paramount. It's one of them.
Yeah,
We just walked in and started playing.
there he is on Jane
There's
Fonda's
two or three of
thing.
us there, you know.
Ralph, you know, I didn't share this with Ralph. I have to, let me see if I can share this with Ralph. Send in Messenger to Ralph.
Ralph was a good guy. When I came out here,
He's a great bass player. Woo.
yeah, when I came out, he just he was doing a lot of recording, basically a lot for Jane Fonda, and he was with Eddie Money. So he was music director for Eddie Money, and
I didn't think his last name was Carter.
well, Ralph
Is it?
Carter was the bass player with Sugar and Us for a
Yeah,
while.
Ralph. I mean, the really great electric player, slender white guy
Yeah,
with the studio.
yeah, older, yeah.
Yeah,
See,
Ralph.
that's-
No, I didn't realize his last
almost
name
as
was
pretty as me.
Carter.
He's up
Almost.
in. I met him up. Let's see, in Malibu, and he was doing this stuff, and that's when I met George and Gary Babona, George Panis, because we needed a horn section. So,
Yeah.
so I'd bring them in, I'd make up the parts, and
That was with Sugar. You know, I wonder if we have any.
Sugar was a bouncer at that time.
Oh. So Sugar Ray Rayford, right?
Yeah,
I probably can find something.
oh, you
on
can find a
YouTube,
lot on
right?
him.
But I mean, I'm talking about you and him on YouTube. Sugar Ray. Sugar. How do you spell his name? It's kind of interesting.
Sugaray. I think it's like
Just like that?
combined, like Sugar
yeah.
Ray. Yeah.
So Sugar Ray Rayford.
Yeah.
And I want to see if we.
I think he's got his 6th record
Is
out,
that
man.
you? No, that's not you. Right?
That, probably not in Paris somewhere,
Looks
France.
like almost like.
That's the other horn section we didn't get. Yeah,
That's not you.
it would be down in his earlier things, and
Ottawa.
we
Day
did.
Trotter Sessions.
We almost did so much. We did. I mean, we were playing a lot.
Oh, here you are. It says.
Yeah, Gino. That's right here, the Sugar Man.
Yeah.
My dad used to say, "Yes, baby." Bend it, baby. Bend it like Beckham. Bend it like Beckham. Yeah.
Sugar likes to come out.
Get close.
You know, Bonnie. Sugar's got his 7th album coming out, man. They all out of Nashville.
What?
A lot of guys up here.
With all that Juilliard crap. All that Juilliard stuff.
Shit.
Piling in.
East LA shit.
That's East LA? Come on, East LA. All right. Take your time. Take some records.
Talk about the guitar player.
What? Stay right there. Stay right there.
That's Ralph.
Yeah, what does his wife do? That's not. Oh.
You just
Play it again, baby.
move ahead.
Is the lock into a guitar intro?
Come on, give my son a big hand.
Now you're gonna hear.
You play the bass. In the sink for just
The bell.
Tell Pop.
That's all
I'm
right.
doing this for Debbie. She's playing the right way.
You have to.
Too many
Small play.
dirty dishes.
It just does too.
Is that what he said?
Yeah.
Oh.
Completely.
Dirty dishes in the sink for just us two.
Somebody else is eating that.
You gotta think outside the box. Get that away.
You guys never do.
Chuck, there's a casserole dish in the sink, babe.
That's right.
But when I left this morning, I had a bowl of fruit. And mama, by yourself. You gotta get ugly when you're singing this stuff. It's tough, but you gotta be that way sometimes. You know what I'm saying?
I don't even know. I think we
I can step on your foot. Man.
take it off like
Push your leg, push your leg.
took it out.
Oh,
He probably did that.
So that's the very reason why we lose the fight.
Yeah. My
We
hair
ain't
was
sticking together like we
dyed
used to.
black, gray,
In the old days, even if you knew a brother was wrong, you still stuck with him because he was a brother.
red.
yeah. Dan may have found something at, what did he say? Jazz Alley? Would you have been there?
I don't know.
Ah, there was,
Walk down the night road into hell. Wondering where I parked my car. Oh, my friends. Man left between two bills. Hit another beyond the high. There's the voodoo woman begging me unto the night. She said, sugar, what do I say? I didn't know what I was getting into. What do I say? Lord, I was heading nowhere but a day in the blues. Knowing that I never mind that. She took me to a hole in the wall behind the hidden door.
I don't think he danced a lot.
It was like no place I'd ever seen. I ever been before.
Well, normally you do a walk.
These hurt fine, candlelight, some music in the air.
Barely. Things do move fast, man. Yep,
I mean, it moves fast.
yep, really does. Oh, thank you, Catherine. Catherine invited Ralph. Cause I didn't see him on my my Facebook. So, okay, so Allan, let's talk a little bit about jazz and your playing. I mean, when I met you, We met at the Smokehouse.
That's right.
Linda Smith was there.
That's right.
And
I had just started back on my horn too. How many years is that? Is that 15 years yet?
let's see. Could have been, it's something like 12 to 15 years probably. And maybe 12 to, yeah, maybe around 12 or 13 years. How long have you been here?
I don't know.
Do
But
you
it
know
had
what
been
year that you
somewhere
came?
between. It was right when I got here,
Yeah.
because I had packed my horn up and stuff and came out and
I remember it like it was happening right now. I remember you coming in. I saw you. You took out your horn. You started blowing, or I went up to you and I said, "Hi."
yeah. And
Hi,
I met
I'm Cathy Segal-Garcia. How are you?
Yeah, you were running the show, and I met Jody and all the
Yeah,
girls. They were all
yeah.
out there. Y'all were hanging tough then.
And I said, "Oh, okay. So you want to play?" And you said, "Yeah." And then you played, and I fell in love with your playing right then. And I always have felt the same about your tone on tenor is so
And I was
good.
trying to figure the tune out. I was laughing. We did good cut bait or something, or good bait or something he called it. I said, I just laughed. I said, shit, I get it.
He has a great tone on
Next
tenor, though.
time.
Really, he does. And you play flute better than
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
I got a
sitting over
flute. Yeah. Yeah, I've hit the big time now.
So, tell us about
Then that's when I got back into jazz, though, pretty much.
what that.
Yeah, we also did we was on the road with Sugar for 9 years. When I got here, Sugar had a year or so, a couple of years before, just got out of Texas,
Yeah.
and his wife persuaded him to start singing.
Oh, really?
When I met him, he was sitting outside the club. I said, "Yeah, man, I'm from D.C. So yeah, I'm from Texas." And then the guys was a lot of hard rockers there, like say Ralph's from Eddie and Money, Chuck Boris, all of them. They all were big rock groups. And let's put something together. So, yeah. And it took off. Sugar took off.
Yeah, he sure did.
And we played with him probably on the road for about 9 years. We started doing up and down the West Coast. Up and down, next thing I know, we did all the East Coast and all of Canada and all down Florida. Came back across the country.
Yeah.
This was all the time, and Sugar's got 3 or 4 awards there for, Best Entertainer of the Year. He's got a Grammy nomination.
So Allan Walker, so here's my story. My story is if I was rich, I would take Allan Walker and I would pay all your bills
All the
for
bills.
several months and have him practice, just kind of warm up, practice his jazz stuff because he's really
Well,
great.
I'm kind of
And
on it
then-
now. I'm kind of doing it now because of the pandemic.
I know you are. You're sounding really good. And then I would set up the best band and then I would record him because
Well, Cath,
he's a great player. And
Cat-
over the years, I have heard him go into that zone that I say, wow. But of course, I hear you more play R&B and blues.
Right.
But yeah,
now that's another side there. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right about that. And I'm kind of into it now. I want to kind of do something with it because that's what I'm really kind of all about. I mean, I enjoyed both sides of life,
yeah,
And I was just talking to a friend of mine, Elmo, trumpet player. We played with the Stylistics. We were touring all over the country. He played with a bunch of groups. Well, in fact, he did the Drifters and Coasters and Little Anthony. We did a whole bunch of groups. And we were just saying, you get to a point, I appreciate jazz more. Even though I was listening to Train, I was listening to Nancy Wilson. I loved what was the girls? All the
Dinah
ladies,
Washington
all of them,
and-
all of them back in the day.
yeah.
And I never forget, I was in D.C. and somebody said, a friend of mine, Ed Murphy, owned a supper club there. We're having a private party for Nancy Wilson. It's her birthday. And we got some tickets. I said, okay, I think I want to see Nancy. She was one of my favorites, That was Shirley Bass and Nina Simone, all of them were out. So me and my wife, we went down and we sat there, and it was just she was sitting right in front of us. And they were having all, but I went thinking that she was gonna sing,
Yeah.
and she didn't sing, and it was kind of like, oh shit, because it was a personal birthday party type thing, and they were
No
all honored.
music.
Yeah, we were all honoring her.
Yeah, yeah.
But I loved her singing so much. I was praying, please just sing one song, And I'll never forget it because I was sitting there just hoping, That's how much I liked her.
Yeah.
She was something.
Yeah. Hey, so here's another area of the Allan Walker life, and you may have seen this on his biography, but for a while, you kind of stepped away from
20
music,
years.
although you were probably still playing, but you just,
Just a little
yeah,
bit.
like keeping your chops up. So, yeah, tell the people about the school.
Yeah, what happened was,
And how old were you?
let me see, I was
You were just married,
20.
or?
Yeah, I just got married, so that was like 24, somewhere like it, 22. Let's see. Time passes so fast, but it was in my early 20s,
Yeah.
and I just was. I mean, I'm kind of like my mom's side of the family. They were all business. They had stores and stuff, and I think that's in me. So I wanted to go in business because I was always into money. Give me some money, and I'm still into it. Please give me some money, y'all. This is not for free. That's what I tell these young boys, man. Don't play for free. Get paid. Everybody else is getting paid. The carpenters getting paid. They getting $250 a day, $300 a day. Everybody, the plumbers, everybody's getting paid, but the musicians. We supposed to love it so much. Oh, I love it. I don't want any money. So I was getting paid and still quit and went into business because I went out there to McLean, Virginia.
Yeah.
So I used to ride around all the time, I still do it. I still
Yeah,
ride around,
right.
looking at the $100 million houses.
Yeah.
So I'm out there riding around, and I said, I like this area, man. I like this area. I want some money. So guy said, well, I'm in the preschool business, man. You can start a preschool. I said, but I don't know anything about preschool. I'm not a teacher. And I didn't even know anything about business. You had to learn how to keep the books, posting, and deficits over here, and all that, and manage people. He said, well, some money in it, man. I said, oh, yeah? How much? I said, well, I'm in the daycare business, and I really like kids a lot because I'm a family person, so that problem, that was the easy part.
Yeah.
So I just happened to run across a Ralph's store, but it was called Safeway at that back here, Safeway Juniors, about a third of a big Ralph's. And it was vacant. They had opened it in this new section on the waterfront in Southwest, and it didn't make it. And I said, that's a nice place. And it's right there near the government building. So if you worked in the government, and everybody did, you could bring your kids and drop them off there. And somehow I raised up a little bit of money, and then I had some friends put some money in the bank for me under my name, but it was also their name too. So Allan, we trust you and everything. Don't touch the money. So I had that going, and then I went down to the Small Business Administration, told them I wanted $80,000 because I had some money, and they gave it to me. And they said, you had any experience? I said, no. I said, but my mother-in-law said, go up and talk to this lady at the school, and she'll tell you, she'll teach you the things about teaching and running a preschool. And I did. I went up there and I talked to the lady, and I went to one of my mentors, and she taught me how to post books and keep that. And I did that. And then I got the building. I went out and talked to the man, gave him the money, and they gave me the building. And once I got the building, I
Was
didn't have
that-
any money.
Was that be after you had been into contracting a little bit or working?
I had been
in
working.
that?
I've
So
been.
you kind of were familiar with
Yeah.
like what it took to
I
pull
could-
the building
yeah,
together
Yeah,
and stuff.
I could do a little drywall, some
Yeah.
painting and stuff. So I got the building, and I said, "Oh, the building was new." I said, "Oh shoot! All I got to do is paint the walls, put down some carpet, and I'm gonna put one big wall in the front with a door, so you'd have to go through a regular opening, but all the rest of it, I was gonna put those things that government offices got now, like modules. What do you call them?
Yeah, modules. Yeah.
So, yeah. So I put different colors, orange, blue, and red, and each one was a classroom in green. And I had 5 or 6 teachers there, and then I had a cook and me and my wife. And after I got that together, I let her run it because that was the best. She had that. These parents were young parents, and they were government workers, and they were making good money, so it was kind of a little upscale,
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I met all the parents. All the parents had houses. Can you do my basement? Can you do this? Can you do that? That's when I started really rolling.
Oh.
We
Yeah.
had the kitchen going, and the people were, the teachers were there. Cheryl was running the preschool. I was renovating people's houses. Just do it. And when you're young, you can just do it.
Yeah.
And that went on for about 12 years. And I just decided I wanted to do something else, and just moved on. Then I kind of got back into music. I missed it. That's one thing about music. Once you start, and like you said, my saxophone was my first girlfriend. Once you fall in love with her, it's hard to get out. And then I came back and got back into music, and I could just do the contracting thing on the side.
Yeah.
Even though it's a major part of me now. Still, when I had the preschool, that was 16 hours a day.
Yeah.
And sure enough, all those places that I went out to McLean with the Kennedys lived out there. Ethel Kennedy. I moved right out there beside her. Yes, I did. And my son, the one that does the Grammys and all these other shows,
Yeah.
he went to Ethel Kennedy's house for a birthday party. They were raising money for something, and the Redskins were there, the football team and stuff. And that's just where I was comfortable at.
Yeah.
Now I'm comfortable in the ghetto again. Oh, Lord, I hope it's not somebody coming through the window.
It's really, well, I mean, you always say to me, life is interesting, isn't it, Cathy?
It's like different lives.
It's
you
like,
have totally
yeah.
different lives.
Yeah, like from when you were a kid growing up.
I remember I was in Boston with the Italians
Yeah.
trying to be a gangster.
Yeah,
That was
a whole different
Different
life
life.
too. Yeah,
the preschool was a different life.
yeah,
The music was totally different. That was a different life.
yeah,
And I began to realize, I talked to all my friends now, you live many lives.
yeah,
I don't know anybody that's just, I'm sure there's some people that just came up and did the same thing over and over, but I just don't know any. We just tried everything.
yeah,
From marching in the streets, to renovating people's houses, to buildings, to playing music, to pretending like we were gangsters. Pretending, that's what it was, pretend. And it's just, it passes so fast. And you look up. And my mother told me, I never forget it. She said, Allan, I said, she was in her 40s. And I said, Mom, does it go by fast? Because I thought 40 was old. That was old in the day. She looked at me and she said, just like that. Because my father passed at 54.
Oh.
Clint passed, brother, at 52. All my sisters were in the 60s. They gone. So 40 was old. in those days.
How old is Buto? 70?
He's the only one. Me, I'm 73. Buto is 82.
Oh, 82.
He outlived
Wow.
everybody, but like I said, my whole family, they went out in the 50s and 60s.
Yeah.
I think Carolyn might have made it to 70. And but everybody's got out of here, you know.
Yeah.
And it's just amazing. You live different lives and you learn different things. You begin to realize that you're spiritual.
Yeah.
This is not, this solid stuff is not it. This is, you're meant to go through this, you know, and you're meant to pay a price.
Yeah.
Nobody gets away. Everybody pays a price.
Yep. Yeah.
If you think, anybody out there think they're going to get away, it's a price to live on this planet. And it's just, you know, you move on. But it's been interesting. I've been blessed. I've been to hell and back, no question.
Yeah.
But when I look at other people that did absolutely nothing, they just did the same thing they did when they were a kid. And I just don't know what kind of life that is.
Yeah.
I had a lot of different experiences, and I still am having them. Even the thing with Sugar Ray, we were traveling all over Europe. They went to Mumbai. I didn't go, and because I knew if I drank the water, I'd probably be, you wouldn't probably be here now, you know. But anyway, a guy just called me, and I'm supposed to go to Dubai in October
Wow.
for a gig, one gig.
Wow.
So I'm looking forward to that.
Huh.
But that's going to be another chapter in my life. I've been to I had got halfway in the Middle East there. I was going to Germany one time and missed the plane. They sent me all the way to somewhere. I can't even think of where it was, man. Somewhere in the Middle East. Then I had to
Russia.
come back. Yeah. But I'm looking forward to the Middle East just to
Experience that.
to peep it.
Yeah.
You know, and then come on back. I mean, that's all I need.
Yeah.
You know, I don't need to get the whole experience, just a little bit.
I keep telling Allan and trying to set it up, and maybe after the pandemic settles down, that you should go to Japan.
Yeah.
He
I
would.
missed that Far East thing. I'd like to just go straight down and tour that whole thing, all the way down through China, Japan, go across the water and go down,
Yeah.
just to see and
You'd have fun in
call
Japan,
it,
especially.
call it a day. You know,
Yeah.
it's we all definitely gonna leave here.
You know, I interviewed an old friend of mine from college actually yesterday, Brad Hadfield, a piano player, and his brother Mike played vibes with me in college. We had a band. And anyway, their mother is 100 and her sister is 106.
Golly, man.
106.
I don't know the way I'm stumbling and bumbling now. I don't know. I don't know.
Unbelievable.
I don't
Let's
know.
see, what else did people write? Yeah, Angela O'Neill says, I totally agree with you, Allan. Yes, you got to get paid.
Hey, yeah, Angela, she knows, man. She knows.
does.
She's doing a great job with the
Oh.
Outrageous 8.
And Joyce, by the way, Joyce said actually the Highway 99 Blues Club is the place that you probably liked to play in Seattle.
That's where I was. We played there
Yeah,
4 or 5 times.
but she said even maybe earlier too. They have a nice dance floor.
Yeah. In fact, that thing you showed, we were at the 99, but they moved. I think they moved up because they're renovating all down there with the highways and stuff. Seattle's a beautiful city. I like Seattle.
Yeah,
I like it. I like it a lot. It reminds me of the East Coast because it's vertical.
yeah,
I like San Francisco because it's vertical.
yeah.
LA is horizontal, and it
true.
is
Yeah.
big. I mean, to tell you, I was up in your neighborhood, somewhere up in this. I was up in Woodland Hills. It was rush hour, and I had to go down to Long Beach to what's my man that plays
That would have
bass?
taken a while.
Dave.
Dave Ross.
Went down to Dave Ross's house. Took me 3 hours and 15 minutes. I tacked it out so the people back in D.C. would see. I said, another hour, I could have flew to Washington. From LA, I could have flew from LA to DC
God.
in 4.5
My
hours.
God.
It took me 3 hours and 15 minutes to get to Long Beach. I said, Jesus Christ. But it's a beautiful city, though. It's a beautiful city at night, especially you see the rolling hills and stuff. It's just a little out of control now. I think all the big cities are out of control. You know, San Francisco's out of control. And the homeless situation is terrible. So it's, it's another phase of life. And we move
Yeah.
on.
Yeah. I mean, you and I talk a lot about various things like the homeless, and sometimes you talk about moving out of LA, although you haven't yet.
Yeah.
And
But
if you
it's a
do
big
move,
city. It's
we're
a
going to
big
have
city.
to do a lot of FaceTiming, and
Yeah, it's
so
a
I
big
can.
city. It's a lot of traffic, and it takes forever to get anyway, And the traffic is back out now. And it used to be when I first came out here, it was pretty. The
It is
rush
back
hour
out.
was 2-3 hours, and then 2 or 3 hours in the evening. But now, 10 o'clock is traffic, 12 o'clock is traffic, 2 o'clock is traffic. I mean, packed.
Yeah.
So it's something.
Yeah.
And then you want me to play for free. Want me to drive 3 hours, burn up $100 worth of gas, bring down a $10,000 horn, 50 years of practice. Talking about good luck, fella. What the hell is that? Good luck. Get out of here.
Well, it's funny because somebody just interviewed me for writing the liner notes for my new record, and the record has all these songs from the '70s into the '90s, right? And it's all it's called social anthems, right? So it's kind of reflecting what we were going through then, and also what we're going through now, right? Because there is a big kind of a tie-in.
It really is.
And I think that's why a lot of singers are actually doing the same thing. A lot of singers right now are gathering music that is old, like that, from that period, from the Woodstock period and all
I've
that.
spoken to several people, Alvino Bennett, a lot of people from around the country that we played with. And everybody, I would say, in their late 50s on, are beginning to produce their records now. Some with this pandemic has changed everybody. And
Yeah.
they feel like, if
I
I'm going to
bet-
do
yeah.
something, I better do it.
Yeah, and I can.
Exactly.
But the thing is all of this last year or two, I just realized, and even more so talking to this writer, I just realized that what I've been feeling, and I've talked to you about this, but what I've been feeling about music, kind of not surprised, but kind of impressed that music is really like the air we breathe. We've lived on it, we've grown on it, we've eaten it, and the fact that of the money thing, that we don't get paid for producing it, I think it's maybe now it's even more like kind of obvious to people, like, hey, this is not just nothing. This is
No, it's valuable. I mean, you're privileged to even be doing it.
yeah.
I mean, I am so glad that I'm a musician. I was talking to some other guy down at Sam Ash, and he patted me on the back. I didn't even know him. He said, "Isn't it great to play some music and be an artist?" I said, "It sure is. It sure is."
You hear that a lot nowadays.
Yeah, I said, I'm so glad I played. Because a lot of people say they stay at home and they didn't have nothing to do during the pandemic. A lot of people were, after a while, they start practicing to get your mind off of that, you
Yeah.
know. And I am glad I played. And if I go out tonight and get $7 for a 5-hour gig, it doesn't matter because I'm enjoying myself. I'm going to be a heaven guy. People say, "What's he playing?" Man, I'm going to turn my back to the crowd. I'm trying to think who I saw. So one of the great guys, he turned his whole back to the crowd who was just playing saxophone player back in the day. I can't think of it.
Well, Miles used to do that. right?
Yeah, they turned it back, man, later for you.
Well, I saw Miles in Boston at Paul's Mall, and that's what he did.
Yeah.
He turned his back and he left after the first song.
I went to Paul's Mall and saw Tony Williams, John McLaughlin. I don't know who was on the drums. And Tony Williams was on the drums. And I sat down next to him. And that's the first time because I was getting ready to go to New England Conservatory. I had a little teeny scholarship. They're going to let me test me out, you know. And I went down there and I listened. And it said John McLaughlin, but Tony Williams was on drums. But Tony Williams played so hard, so furious. I had to get up and leave. I got up and went outside and took a breath. I had never seen anybody play like that.
Huh.
Isn't that a great feeling when you see somebody that extraordinary? You had to go out and take a breath because I wasn't there. You know, he just overwhelmed me. I mean, he was, and I'm right next to him, you know. I said, damn, I'll never forget that. And I just walked outside and took a breath, man. And I should have known then, you know, where he was.
Yeah.
But I wasn't ready. I didn't know where he was.
Yeah.
And it wasn't long after that, he passed.
Oh. Huh.
Yeah, he died.
Yeah.
I think he just went for it, man. His whole spirit, everything was into it, man. Cat, man, something, man.
Who was in jazz? Who was one of your kind of like sudden loves, or like mentor, or just kind of somebody who just went, oh my, kind of changed your mind and heart?
You know, I always was a train man. I always liked to train, and by me having 5 brothers over top of me, sisters, we had a little stereo, and that was great, and we would play. Of course, we'd play all the ladies, and then I started buying Train. I bought Rollins, but then I heard Stanley Turentine, and I heard him, and that was something I could really relate to because I'm playing the blues. I love Train because that's where I wanted to aspire to, but I wasn't ready. I did not have the technical training to understand what he was doing, even though I loved him to death and still love him. But when I heard Stanley play, well, he was playing the blues. And I said, oh, wow, man, listen to that. And I think Stanley, Train, Miles, Cannonball. I heard Cannonball. He sounded good. All the hit makers. I like the hit makers. And very impressed with all of them. I just love music because I came up under it. My mom played piano, and we had a hi-fi. And remember I bought the wash and dry? Well, I also bought a long stereo, 6 feet long. Shit, I got me a tape unit and I was taping everything. Oh man, I was in heaven and didn't know it.
But you were enjoying it though.
I was enjoying it. I was having the time of my life.
Yeah.
But I thought that was normal.
Yeah. Well, it was normal for you.
Yeah.
I don't think it didn't sound like you were taking it for granted.
No, I just thought it was normal.
Yeah.
Because, all your brothers and sisters love you. Your parents love you.
Yeah.
The neighbors love you. The music loves you. You love it.
Yeah.
You're walking out. And we used to have guns down in Virginia. I won't get into that too much. But I set up on the porch. And we had these trees across the street. Big old trees, and I'd be shooting. Bam, bam, bam. And the neighbors would be calling because they lived a block over. Well, it wasn't a block, about a half a block, the next street over, but it was a big empty field. In the back of their houses, we could see. So I'm shooting at trees halfway between here and their house, and they call me, Allan, stop shooting that damn gun. You go hit somebody. And in those days, everybody was so nice. I said, Yes, ma'am. I'll stop shooting. I was pow, 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 pow. Had no clue. Had no clue. Just never dreamed of hurting anybody or would hit anybody. But I was shooting right towards their houses. Could they call, hey, stop it! Stop it! And that's, in those days we had party lines. So it'd be 2 or
Party
3 people
lines.
picking up. Do you have him on the phone, Miss Jones? Miss Miller, yes, he's there. He said he's gonna stop. Oh, Lord have mercy. I drove to Washington, D.C. and I had to see a friend of mine who had to leave town because he was going with this white girl. He was a black guy, and she had gotten pregnant, so they had to leave town to have a baby. So they went to Washington. And I went to Washington, and I had a 38 in the car, a long gun in the back seat, because down there it was legal.
Yeah.
You could just go in the store and buy it. No filling out, nothing,
Yeah.
signing, nothing. I like to have that gun and that gun. And but I forgot I was in Washington, and it was in the back seat, just laying in the back seat. And the cop stopped me and said, "You have a gun?" I said, "Yeah." And he looked at you from Virginia? Yeah. I said, "Well, it's legal." He said, "Not here. Not here. I would advise you to get out of town immediately or we will lock you up." Because I mean, you could walk. I went downtown one time. I was carrying the gun and stuff. People, "Allan, stop shooting." I thought that was the funniest thing. Next week I start shooting again. Bam, bam, bam. Stop it. Good time. Everything I did was like big fun. We just even if it was wrong, it was good. Shoot, man.
Who was one of the most fun groups that you played with back then? Like when you were, when you had that kid backup band basically for everybody. Do you remember like a few real favorites?
Yeah. Temptations were a favorite. They came out. They were pretty strong.
Yeah.
And the Four Tops were strong. We did the Four Tops in Atlanta. We usually did those groups about 3 or 4 times. I probably played with the Temps, maybe more than that, maybe 6, 7, 8 times, in the Top same way. Because they would do like the University of Georgia. They had to do that whole thing, University of South Carolina, Georgia Tech.
Yeah.
So they'd go up all the way up. And the girls just went crazy. And I did other groups like Little Anthony.
Uh-huh.
They were older even then, so people really liked them,
Yeah.
but they weren't really going crazy like. And I played with Marvin Gaye. He was one of the first people I played with, and he was just standing next to me. He had on regular clothes with a skull hat on, and I was playing whatever, Pride and Joy, and I thought I was with Marvin. I didn't even know I was a side man. I was with him. That's who they like, so I'm with him, later for the band. Oh, man. I was innocent. I was real innocent,
Yeah.
And then we did the Drifters and the Marvelettes. Played with the Marvelettes at North Carolina State. Marvelettes, and we had Billy Stewart. He put out the Baby, Here I Stand. He had a couple of hits, and the Marvelettes had a couple of hits, and there was a few other groups on there. And we played on a flatbed truck in Raleigh, North Carolina for the University of North Carolina State. North Carolina State was in Raleigh. And then we had a lot of nice events like that where we would play outside, and it was nice, man. It was just, we played at Hampton and Sydney, that's in Virginia. And we played outside with the Temptations, Four Tops. It was really nice, and we made money. We were having fun. we had energy beyond belief because you're in your peak. You're teenagers, so you're like a little deer. So you could play all night, and we would drive going back home. We were up all night and be up the next day. You know, it was, and you had some money, and the house note was only $40. Now the house note is $4,000, $10,000. I was talking to a friend of mine, and at the first house he bought, I think it was $3,500 a month.
Yeah.
And then he bought another one that was $7,500 a month. Now he's one that's $12,000 a month. And the one that was $3,500 a month was the same about the $40 a month one that we had. It was $40. Things have changed slightly.
Just a little bit.
Yeah. And we could get groceries. We'd have like 5 or 6 bags. And my mom said, Allan, can you go down to the store with me? It was A&P. They're out of business now, A&P.
Yeah, I remember A&P.
And they had 5, 6 bags in there, $20. We could feed 7 people, 9 people with $20, a couple of meals.
Yeah.
Times have changed.
Hey, so talking about jazz and now, so what do you want to do right now with your jazz stuff?
I'm getting ready to put out a CD.
Mm-hmm.
It's coming. I'm not, believe me, it's just stuff I've had for a long time. So I might as well just put it out there. I'm just doing it for the family. Memorabilia. I don't get it all excited and go crazy, and see what happens.
Yeah.
And jazz is it's just something, man. The music I've had a lot of opportunities. I was playing in New York City. Same thing. We were young though. I think we were probably in our 20s or something, maybe. Yeah, 20s, early 20s, and we were out in Harlem, and then we went out to 8th Street to count bases, played. Thelonious Monk comes in, sits down, plays right beside me. I didn't even recognize him because I'm still thinking about the girls with the 4 tops. Well, look at that one over there. And so they were all older. They were in college, and we were in high school, so they were looking real good, I'm playing, and I noticed everybody started easing off the stage. And it's just me up there, and he's playing as a drummer. So after the song, I went over and I talked to Elmo. He had his trumpet, and the rest of the cat said, "Why y'all leave?" He said, "Do you know who that is?" "No." Who is it? Thelonious Monk. "Let's play." Didn't have a clue. Let's just play. Let's have a good time.
Yeah. See, that's so in your personality, right?
Yeah, it was like whoever was playing, we didn't care.
I know.
It could have been.
Yeah. And yeah, even more so. Let's play, Thelonious Monk.
Yeah. If it's Cannonball, let's play, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Don Pullen was bringing people down from New York every now and then. I'd get a chance to play with some cats that could really play.
Yeah.
Even though I did not understand totally what they were playing.
Yeah.
It was just the idea that I played with them.
Yeah.
And I felt like I was making progress.
Yeah, and there was probably a feeling that you got when you
It was a
played with
feeling.
them that was like, oh, because you entered their universe, which was kind of here, right?
Right.
So, and you were like, oh, this feels
It
good.
was a
right?
feeling. Because when
Yeah.
I was in D.C., there was a guy named Garland Butts. Then you had the guy at the one step down. They told me, he said, practice reading 15 minutes a day, Allan, and you'll be able to read. 15 minutes, that's all you need. But he was an excellent pianist. And you had Garland, he was a B3 excellent player. And you had a lot of cats in Washington. And I got a chance to play with all of them. And I never forget, I was young. I was still a teenager then because I always had Elmo, he was a trumpet player with me. So it was always 2 or 3 of us. We had to kind of go together because we're walking down the strips, they had Jazzland, they had the Hollywood Club. So the Hollywood was upstairs. So I went up there and you could hear that B3. That's when B3s were real popular. Remember when they came in, Jimmy Smith and all them, and Shirley Scott, and the B3 was pumping and stuff. I said, man, let's go up there and play, man. Let's go. And we didn't even think about them turning us down.
Yeah.
Let's go and play. We got up there, we sat on the chair, and they looked at us, and they said, at halftime look, they said, all right, what do you want to play? I said, can we sit in? He said, yeah, one song. What do you want to play? And man, what you want to play? I don't know. Well, what you want to play? Now, because we didn't have any plans. What you want to play? Play this, please. The guy said, you can't play any of them. Pick one song. Play it. And we went up. I never forget it. And we were playing, And the guy, and Garland looked at us, and he's gone now. He looked, he said, okay, come back next week. I want you to bring another song. I want you to keep this song and practice it, but learn another song and come back. That's how they were.
Yeah.
Even though we probably were pitiful and sad, they embraced you,
Yeah.
told you what to do.
Yeah.
And it was like when I walked down the steps, getting to that spiritual thing that you're talking about, it was kind of like I was floating. It was like, wow. Because I could hear that Leslie, and the B3 was going, and they were playing, and the club was packed, and everybody enjoyed it, and we played. Isn't that something?
Yeah.
And we played. And we all got about 5 minutes over the one song. We only knew one song. Because that's what he told me. You only know one song. What is it? All blues, man. Okay, you got that now. I want you to learn another. But after we played, they treated us real nice.
Yeah.
Come back. In other words, they invited you back.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so cool. I mean, that's, a big part of why we're in this at all is because of people's attitudes, jazz musicians' attitudes, welcoming you in.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Everywhere I went, it was the same way.
Yeah.
Everywhere we went, okay, you want to play? I know we used to go to a place in Washington on Kennedy Street called Jackie Lee's Lounge. And all the cats in D.C. know about it. And we go over and play. And we go and stand in the corner. It was a kind of high stage. I can't think of this lady's name, but she played B3.
Uh-huh.
And she had little heels on.
Yeah.
So she was playing the, down the foot pedals.
Yeah.
And she was real dramatic. She'd be playing, and she'd throw up one hand like that, and then the legs are spinning, and she'd be playing the foot pedals and kicking the wood off it with her high heels and stuff. I said, "Damn, we want to play," because you could. And she bring us up. We play. Oh shit! It was like when you left out there, you didn't know. I didn't think of it at the time, but we were actually floating. Because they gave back to us, and they made us feel like you can come back and play again.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they were way over our heads, a little bit. They were over our heads.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I always got that feeling, come back.
Yeah.
Come back.
That's so nice.
Sure was.
Let's talk just a little bit about your son, because I think that's pretty interesting.
Well, I didn't think he was going to even be in the music business. He was a really smart guy, and I thought he'd probably be in. My father-in-law, he was the head of the marshals in the district and government people. Everybody worked in the government, and government paid good money.
Yeah.
You got 401s, you got retirements and stuff. All these people I knew had beautiful homes and everything. So it was a good choice. And I talked to him. And he said, I want to go down and start playing with the DJs. I looked at him, I said, really? Are they paying you anything? He said, no. I said, okay. I took him down there and I let him out. And then the next thing I know, he got a job in Maryland. And he was a DJ. He was making a little bit of money. Little teeny bit. And I talked to him, and he was happy. Then he came to Washington about a year later. He was moving really quick. About a year later, and he was a DJ at a major station. So then I think he was making a little bit of money then. I don't know, it was 30 or 40,000 bucks or something like that, but it was pretty good,
Yeah, yeah.
He was doing good, man. I was real proud of him, I was all, oh, because I didn't think he was going to go that way. And he just asked me about, one time he asked me about whether he should go into government and work, or because he knew I had been in business all my life because he watched me.
Yeah.
And I used to let him sit there in the chair and run the things. I said, well, Jamie, I would like to, I like doing my own thing. You make your own hours. If you make some money, you made it. If you didn't, you didn't. And he went to Las Vegas for a convention. He met one of the stationers here in LA, KHI.
Mm.
And he went from 30 to 100,000. And he was tickled to death. And he called me, he said, I got a job in Los Angeles. I said, fantastic, man. I was telling everybody, And he was doing good. And we came out to see him and all of that. And then he had ran into some little controversy there. And I was back in D.C. I was wiring all the postal systems, internet systems.
Oh, yeah.
I got into that
Right.
just by a fluke.
Yeah.
Hey, man, you want to wire some internet stuff? Yeah, why not? You don't even think when you're young, you don't even think about the responsibility of this. Like, I can do it. Why not? Yeah, just show me. And he called me. He was down. He said, I don't know if they fired him from this station or he quit or something. And he said he was down. He was just saying, thinking about coming back to D.C. I said, well, I don't know. I said, you can always come back here. I got a home. I'm working. I'm making good money. You can work with me at the post office. And I wasn't a postal worker, but I was just a contractor.
Yeah.
I said, oh, you can stay out there. And I said, I would stay out there if I was you. Make another go at it. And next thing I knew, he met John Cossette, which is Pierre Cossette's son. And Pierre Cossette, along with Ehrlich, invented the Grammys.
Oh.
They invented the whole, and he took him under his wing.
Wow.
And then next thing I know, 2-3 years later, Jamie was an executive producer. And then Cossette's son passed. And he just moved right up in the line. And that's ever since I've been out here. When I came out here, he was producing those shows. So it's been at least 15 years. And then this year, he picked up the Oscars.
And now, wasn't he the first Black man to do something?
He was the first Black. And I wouldn't even believe this because I thought football, that's sport we run just about.
Yeah.
He produced The Weeknd. And I didn't even know who Weeknd was. I thought they were talking about The Weeknd. He said, no, he produced Weeknd in the first, and that halftime show for the NFL this past season. And he was the first Black in history to produce the NFL halftime show. That amazed me. That's more amazing than anything.
It's really amazing.
Yeah. With all those Black folks in there.
Yeah.
And then he came right behind that and did the Oscars. Then he does all of the BET stuff. And he was in Forbes 500, him and his daughter.
His daughter too?
Yeah, she's like him. She's coming up.
Wait a minute. How old is she now?
That's little Jamie. I don't know how old little Jamie is, but she's pretty young because she was a baby when I was back in D.C.
What is she doing?
She does... She works with.
I'm thinking of his other kids.
Oh, the other kids. Yeah.
Okay.
Kids,
so he had
one before the two other kids.
Right. So she's probably in her late 20s.
No, she's probably in her 30s.
Oh, 30s. Okay.
Yeah.
So is she in the same field?
Yeah, same field. She works with Drake, a couple of big rappers and stuff, and all of that. So they had them both in Forbes 500, daughter and son, and he's getting ready to go on some kind of TV special. Dick Clark and him, and ABC is getting ready to present
I didn't
him.
even know Dick Clark was alive.
I didn't either. at ABC, and maybe it's Dick Clark,
Productions or something,
Productions or something. They're gonna do something. I just saw it. They just
Wow.
sent it to me here, and I think it's a couple of months from now.
What's Jesse's last name that he goes by?
Jesse Collins.
Collins, yeah.
Jesse Collins, what is it?
Enterprises. Yeah.
Something, yeah.
That's really amazing. And I know that
And he wasn't even in music or nothing.
yeah, that's
And just did it on his own.
such a success story.
And he told me when I came, he said, Dad, I remember talking to you. He didn't say it like that. He said, I was just saying, well, I was going to go into government. And I said, I do my own thing. I like being in my own business, which I've always done. I've only had one job in my life, and that was only a year.
Yeah.
That's when I demonstrated the touch phone. I mean, I liked it all, but
You mean working for somebody else?
yeah, working for somebody else.
Yeah.
I said, I think I was just, and then he saw me when I had the preschool,
Yeah.
and he was there all the time. In fact, he did little shows there. He ran the shows.
Oh, he did.
So yeah, he was something, but just he's not flashy, nothing. He stay, they don't flash none of that.
Yeah.
Just a regular guy, because he's with the rest of the family, and I think they got 19 or 20 of them online, and that's that other group. It's their time now.
Yeah.
All my nieces and nephews.
Yeah, they're right at the right age.
And they're in their 40s, and
Yeah.
they're up to 50, and they're it's their time.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why when I do this CD, I'm not doing it I'm just doing it for me,
Yeah.
because I should have done it a long time ago. I've done it for everybody else. You see, I've done
Yeah.
5, 6. I'm singing, I'm dancing, jumping over buildings and shit.
Let me just see. We're coming towards the end, and I just want to see. Dan has some pictures. Yeah, I from your website he's posting, and that is definitely true. Allan has some really handsome pictures. I know he always kids me around, and he says he's so pretty, but he is pretty.
Oh, that's a big Dan, Deficit Dan. Look here. Every time I call, at first Deficit used to smile. When I say Deficit Dan, now he looks at me, Deficit, because I know he keeps up with that money.
Oh, and you have a picture with Smokey Robinson. Did you play with him in the early days?
I miss Smokey, but he was here on the show with my son. My son had him come down. We took pictures, me and my wife. And we were at rehearsal with them, and we were at rehearsal with a whole bunch of folks. We were at rehearsal with the BET show. So my whole family came down, and some of us had drinks in the pocketbooks and stuff.
Yeah.
And it was just us. I think my man, who was that real smooth singer? He was there, black guy, real smooth, but he passed. And he was there, and a couple of them, and they came out in the audience. It was just my family, and we were all drinking at the rehearsal. We had a party. It was about 20 of us. We were having a party, and the people that were supposed to be rehearsing on stage, they were hanging out there with us.
Excuse me. Can you move over towards me just a little? Catherine made a picture, made a point of saying, here, move over a little more. See that picture? Sorry. See that picture right there? That's Allan with his horn when he was down there. Remember?
Oh,
You gave me one of those.
that is really sad and pitiful.
You are, I don't know how old.
I'm in my 20s, because that was Southwest. I had the preschool, and there were townhouses over top of the school.
See, you were pretty then.
Oh, yeah. No question. Look at the hair. Hair's like silk.
Hair like silk.
I had black satin. Yeah. Damn, what a difference a day made.
Did you play with, Nora's asking, the Tams?
You know what? I'm just wondering, did we play with them? I don't know.
Because Nora's brother was their lead guitarist.
I think she means the Temps. I think it might have been the.
I don't think it's you're not talking about the Temps, right, Nora? You're talking about the Tams, because she said it several times.
Yeah, the Tams. What was that song they had out? I remember, but look, Cat, I had to write this stuff down. It's so many people we did, because that's all we did. For us to play a regular gig, we did that 3 or 4 times a year. The rest of it was on the road.
Yeah.
And we thought that was normal. Boy, things have changed. Things have changed, except for the people that are up at the top.
Yeah.
They still play on the road because they go to civic centers. I remember when we started playing in civic
Yeah, man.
centers. First civic center I played was in Roanoke. They had just built it. And then I came down there with, Sam and Dave.
Yeah.
Hold on, I'm coming. So they were in D.C. I was in D.C. then. Then Sam, we came down and we played in the civic center.
See, that's why, Allan, I could play you whatever of Allan singing, and he has that that's part of why.
You pick it up. You hear it.
Yeah, you were so
even though you're doing like
soaked
this,
it in,
right?
yeah.
You hear it.
Yeah.
And that's the way you start thinking.
Yeah.
I wanted to sing some classical, but the man told me, "Hey, guy, come here, get out of here. Get your little shoes. Let's get them shuffling and get your."
I want Allan to sing Bonnie Raitt songs, because I know that he would break hearts if he was singing some of those sad ballads that she sings, man.
Well, she was singing about her daughter and stuff.
Yeah,
and,
man.
Lord have
you
mercy.
could really do that.
Ah,
Ah.
yeah. Then I'd have to take 5 tabs of Viagra just to get on the stage. He said, "Why are you taking Viagra?" I said, "Man, I'm getting ready to go on the stage." I've already taken Nugenics, PJ34, or whatever they got. The next thing I take, give me some Viagra too.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's been 2 hours.
Oh, has it been 2 hours?
Yeah.
Oh, it's
What do you think of that?
I think it's time for me to go get my ladders, paintbrush, and hammer. Give me my $50, baby. At least I can get paid. I'm not jealous of the musicians. So it was just funny. I had a good time.
Yeah, I'm really glad. I'm glad you came over too to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really fun. And like I said, you're the first one I've had this, and you're number
Yeah, I know.
you're number 304.
Damn. That's what all the girls tell me.
What about the girlfriend you asked if you were number 1 or 2?
Yeah, that was number 972. Damn. Give me about 5 more Viagras. Come on. Keep it coming, drink some water.
Maybe I can get to 800.
Yeah. Damn. Life is what you make it.
That's a good
Yeah.
ending comment.
If you fall for it, if you fall for the okie doke, shame on you.
Yeah.
This is your life, and you only got one.
Yep. This time around.
This time around, yeah, that's what I mean.
In this body. I just want to tell you, Thursday through Sunday, where I have archives playing, but you can still tune in around 12 on Facebook. Tomorrow is 2 great jazz people from New York, Andrea Walper, who's a great singer. She plays piano too. And her husband is an avant-garde bass player,
Avant-garde.
Ken Filiano. Friday is the awesome Cathy Segal-Garcia.
Oh. Aren't you playing over there at the...
Well, I am, but I'm just talking about on the show. Saturday, a drummer who was kind of like a kind of a big band drummer, but he actually was really well known for his fusion, Les DeMerle. He lived in LA. He lives in Florida now. And then Sunday is Calabria Foti.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so she's a gorgeous velvet sounding singer and violin player.
She can play too. She's
Yeah.
got a beautiful voice.
And next week, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday is live. Monday is this Brazilian guy and his grandson they just have so much life in them, guitar and voice, and they've been playing together for years and years, and it is so incredibly sweet and wonderful to hear them playing when he was when his grandson was very young, like probably 8 or something. Then Mike Campbell, a lot of you know Mike Campbell. He is a singer and a guitar player who used to be associated with Musicians Institute, and he has a lot of people, friends around the world. And then Wednesday, a really great singer who's South African, but she lives in Canada, named Nikki Schreier. And then if you want to see who else is on, just go on my website, and because I have people lined up for a month or two.
I don't know how you do it. That's a lot of work.
But see, it's fun. It's a
Yeah.
hang. I get to, I mean, I knew a lot of what we talked about, but there were some things I hadn't heard,
Right.
you know.
Yeah, I think it's like playing a gig. Well, I don't know if it's like playing a gig, but like you say, you start glowing when you play.
Yeah.
You start glowing. Your spiritual thing. All of a sudden, it's like it's spiritual.
Yeah.
And the more you know you don't know. But the better you get, the more spiritual it gets. And I think that's what I like about jazz. Because jazz, the more you play, the more you get into what you're trying to do, the more you see you can do. And it gets real spiritual, because it's you. It's not the crowd anymore. It's you and what you're trying to say. That is spiritual. It is not physical. That's $5, please. I needs my money.
So Saturday, by the way, if you're in LA, and Allan will come by probably, but Saturday I'm playing at the conference room in Playa Vista with a really good band, a few guys from out of town who I used to play with in the old days, who have played for like Carmen McRae, and Pat Coyle has played for Diana Ross and blah, 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 blah. And, but they happen to be in town this weekend. So I invited them to be the band. And what happens is I sing a set and then we get into a jam. And Allan always
It's really nice.
comes.
And it's always crowded. It's a beautiful venue. It's the nicest
Outdoors.
venue I've ever played in here.
It's really nice, yeah. And the food's good and the vibe is really nice. So, and make a reservation because they have somewhat limited seating. The conference room in Playa Vista, 6:30 to 9:30. And then Sunday, apparently Linda Smith is going to be at the Urban Press Winery in Glendale or Burbank.
Yeah, Burbank.
I'm gonna play there August 1st
Yeah, well,
with a bunch of old friends.
I saw you. That's your original band, isn't it? Not
No,
original, but
not real. Well, Gary Fukushima I've played with a lot,
they did a couple of albums. I know that.
Yeah,
You did a couple of
Gary.
albums with them.
but yeah, just some old friends. Gary Fukushima, John Leftwich on bass, who's playing. I love Kendall Kay. Kendall, the drummer.
Yeah.
And then Steve Hofstetter, who's like just beautiful on trumpet, and Chuck Manning. He's played with me a lot on alto.
I played with Chuck.
And Kim Richmond is joining us too on alto.
Fantastic.
Yeah, he's probably one of my favorite alto players
He
around.
can play. He's a beautiful cat. He's a nice guy.
Yeah,
They all are, man. They're just nice
Yeah.
people, man.
it's fun. That's a nice gig. It's from 2 to 5. So Linda's probably going to have her usual suspects in the band. Last time was really cool, and you were there. You were.
Oh, so
you were in the
everybody was
band.
dancing and went crazy?
Yeah, Catherine was dancing.
Everybody was
That
dancing. They went
Catherine.
crazy. Yeah, I said, damn, what is this, a disco? It was the last time everybody was dancing. I got out of there, So all the girls started getting down.
I know,
And I
man.
couldn't get down because I knew if I got down, I couldn't get up. I said, damn.
I think it was Catherine who was leading
Yeah, she usually
the rebels.
does.
Yeah.
She does, believe me.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen,
Be cool.
have a great rest of the day or evening wherever you are, and thanks, Allan Walker.
My
Thanks,
sister?
Big Daddy, Allan Walker.
Salam alaikum, my good sister.
Big Al, Cash Money. Bye, everybody. Thank you.